This episode is brought to you by Facebook. So you were scrolling on Marketplace, and there it was, the bike you'd been searching for. You sent a message, and it turned out the seller was super chatty, kind of funny, and an avid cyclist. The next thing you know, you're in a cycling crew. Well, a community cycling group. The thing about Facebook, you might find more than what you're looking for. From a browse to a bike ride, this summer find more on Facebook.
This episode is supported by FX's The Shards, a seductive drama from executive producer Ryan Murphy. Set in 1980s Los Angeles, the series follows a group of glamorous, deeply entangled high school seniors drawn into a life of wealth, beauty, parties, and excess. At its center is Brett, whose reality begins to unravel when the arrival of a new student coincides with a series of mysterious murders. FX's The Shards, now streaming on Hulu.
Plan B is a backup birth control option that's there for you when things don't go according to plan. It specifically works after unprotected sex and before pregnancy occurs by temporarily delaying ovulation. Plan B is available nationwide at all major retailers and through delivery apps like DoorDash. No ID, prescription, or age requirement. It's the #1 OBGYN recommended brand of emergency contraception, and it won't impact your future fertility. That's freedom to be. Use as directed.
Welcome to the Murder Diaries. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Paige. Heads up for our listeners. We are now posting, by the way, full-length video episodes of docu-files on YouTube. So make sure you head over to YouTube at the Murder Diaries podcast and check us out there too.
She was vibrant, talented, and deeply loved. A young woman building a life full of promise in northern New Jersey. But after a night out with friends in the summer of 1990, Lisa McBride vanished from her own home without a trace. What investigators found in the hours and months that followed pointed to something far more sinister than a simple disappearance. In this episode, we unravel the haunting mystery of Lisa McBride's final night, the troubling clues left behind, and the man responsible for her death. This is her story.
Used to think it's in my head, but I'm walking with the dead.
Lisa McBride was the kind of girl that every man wanted to date, and every woman wanted to be friends with. She was that girl, beautiful, carefree, down to earth. People who knew Lisa best described her as kind and empathetic. She loved animals, and she had 2 cats of her own. She'd graduated from West Milford High School in West Milford, New Jersey in 1981, and had stayed busy and successful in West Milford High's dance troupe. The New Generation dance troupe was made up of 8 dancers who performed ballet, tap, jazz, and modern dance. This group was so good that they once traveled to Romania to perform when Lisa was just 16 years of age. After high school, Lisa went on to attend Rider College, now known as Rider University, for 2 years in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. By 1990, Lisa had gotten a good job as an executive secretary at Lakeland State Bank and used her dance background to teach ballet classes on the side. Her students affectionately referred to her as Miss Lisa. She'd often talk to friends about maybe opening up her own dance studio one day. Lisa had also bought and fixed up a home in the Highland Lakes neighborhood of Vernon, New Jersey. Her friends lent a hand in restoring the home and property, helping Lisa out with painting and landscaping. Now, dance wasn't Lisa's only passion. She was also a competitive shooter and avid hiker. She really had it all, beauty, brains, and a sense of adventure that kept her busy and seeking the most out of life. Lisa was also a great daughter. She would go see her parents, George and Norma McBride, at least once a week, despite the 2 of them living nearly 30 minutes away in Newton, New Jersey, where her father owned and operated a plastics plant. Lisa had a brother named Douglas who'd gotten married and had a child. He even asked Lisa to be godmother. And by the spring of 1990, life seemed to be going great for Lisa, and she seemed very happy. She dated when the opportunity was right, but she wasn't really looking for anything serious, especially marriage. Her main focus at that time in her life was figuring out where her career could take her and creating a happy life for herself. One thing about Lisa is she had a silly side. So it was always difficult to get a good photo of her because she was always making silly faces. But one of Lisa's mother's last memories of Lisa involved just that, taking a photo of her daughter. On Thursday, June 21st, 1990, Lisa's parents had some friends over for a get-together, and Lisa came over for a visit. While Norma McBride was taking photos of everyone, she jokingly commented that she needed to get a good photo of Lisa. And when Norma aimed the camera at Lisa and snapped the photo, she had no idea that it would be the last photo that she, or anyone, would ever take of her daughter.
The next night, Friday, June 22nd, 1990, Lisa and 3 of her friends drove about an hour and a half into Manhattan. They were on their way to go see Bob Dylan live at the Beacon Theater. The group had a great time, so much so that as the show ended, they weren't quite ready to end their night. They did make their way back to West Milford, but they stopped at Big John's pub for a nightcap. Several people there witnessed Lisa talking and having a good time. She was socializing with everyone around her. It was there that she ran into 3 old friends who she then shared her phone number with. All good things must come to an end, though, and Lisa had to work the next morning. She finished her 3rd beer and said her goodbyes. She left Big John's pub around 1:30 a.m. and drove home alone. Though it was the early morning hours, at least one neighbor witnessed Lisa getting out of her car and going into her home when she arrived around 2 a.m. Around 7:30 a.m., now Saturday, June 23rd, Lisa's coworkers began to wonder why Lisa hadn't shown up for work. She had never been late or missed a day in all 3 years that she had worked at the bank. They, of course, tried calling her on her home phone, and they couldn't get a hold of her. So they immediately called Lisa's family and told them that she hadn't arrived yet to work and they couldn't get a hold of her. By 10 a.m., Lisa's brother Douglas arrived at her house to see what was going on. The first thing he noticed, Lisa's car was in the driveway. At first, that felt slightly promising. Maybe she was just tired from being out so late the night before and had overslept. But when Donald let himself in using the spare key he had for her front door, he knew immediately something was wrong. Her sofa had been moved about half a foot away from the wall. Her purse and keys were missing. In her bedroom, he found more evidence that something horrible had happened. Her bedside lamp was still on, but all the sheets and blanket from her bed were gone, completely missing from the house. Also, he could only find one of Lisa's cats in the house. The other cat, who was known for being extremely skittish around men, was missing.
Things were definitely feeling wrong about Lisa's home that morning, so the police were called. When they arrived, they did a search around the outside of Lisa's home and found that Lisa's phone line had been cut. A screen over one of the windows had 2 large slashes through it, large enough for a person to shimmy through. This was enough to make investigators suspect foul play in Lisa's case. At very least, they felt that Lisa had likely been abducted. A 17-person task force was immediately assembled for Lisa's case, made up of members of the FBI, state police, and local Sussex County investigators. A command trailer was set up next to the Vernon Police Department. Lisa's parents also set up a dedicated phone line for tips about their daughter. And her father, George, used resources and people at his plastics company to print and distribute missing persons flyers for Lisa. Her basic info was included on the flyer. Lisa McBride, 27 years old, 5'7", 135 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Last seen wearing blue jeans, a white shirt with a shoelace-type black tie in the back. The McBrides also put up a $100,000 reward for her safe return, and her brother Douglas spent many hours searching the woods by her house for any sign of his sister. Lisa's case was picked up by the media almost immediately. She was featured on TV and in the newspaper. Investigators began to receive a steady stream of tips. Unfortunately, none of these tips led to Lisa. Investigators quickly eliminated the friends that Lisa went to the concert with as suspects. But something they found out about while interviewing her friend group was a man that had been pursuing Lisa for a date. He had come on strong, even aggressively, to the point that Lisa complained about him to her friends. This man had asked Lisa on several dates. He even bothered her at work, leaving flowers on her car. They definitely wanted to talk to this man, but they couldn't find him. In the first few weeks after Lisa disappeared from her home, police conducted more than 500 interviews. But again, they weren't getting anywhere with her case. A month after Lisa went missing, there was a report of a woman who was either pushed out of or fell out of a moving car. This woman matched Lisa's description, but when police followed up on the report, it was just another dead end. Lisa's flyers were distributed across the country, even into Canada. But the months wore on and there was still no sign of Lisa anywhere. In the fall of 1990, another massive search was being planned to take place across 30,000 acres of land in Vernon and West Milford. 200 people had volunteered to assist in the search, which would include a local state park and the Newark watershed. But the morning that volunteers and police were set to begin the search, October 20th, 1990, the McBrides received devastating news.
Call me basic, but I'm an autumn girl through and through. And as this summer winds down, it's got me thinking about all these little things that make the home feel a little more comfortable and welcoming and cozy. That's exactly what Quince does so well. They make it so easy to upgrade the spaces that you use every day with quality home essentials made from premium materials without paying any of those luxury prices. Quince has those pieces that quietly elevate your home, from plush Turkish cotton bath towels and breathable cotton and linen bedding. Everything from Quince is made with premium materials and thoughtful craftsmanship. That's because Quince works directly with ethical factories and cuts out the middleman. That way they can offer exceptional quality at prices that are 50 to 80% less than similar luxury brands. I've been sleeping on European linen sheets from Quince's home goods line for a year now, and let me tell you, they are cozy, they are breathable. I have no notes. They also just sent me their cotton fisherman's throw in the color fig. It is so pretty and also very cozy, most importantly. Elevate your everyday at home. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/diaries. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/diaries.
This episode is supported by FX's The Shards, a seductive drama from executive producer Ryan Murphy. Set in 1980s Los Angeles, the series follows a group of glamorous, deeply entangled high school seniors drawn into a life of wealth, beauty, parties, and excess. At its center is Brett, whose reality begins to unravel when the arrival of a new student coincides with a series of mysterious murders. FX's The Shards premieres August 5th on FX and Hulu.
Okay, real talk. Shopping doesn't always boost your confidence. Sometimes you just want to put something on and think, yes, this is me. That's why Stitch Fix works. You take a quick style quiz, size, budget, what you're into, and a real human stylist sends pieces picked just for you. Try everything on at home, keep what you love, send back the rest. Shipping's free, no subscription required. Get $20 off at stitchfix.com/Spotify.
I'm not giving up. I am selling the building.
The final season of FX's The Bear.
The restaurant is flooded.
Everything's either going to be okay.
No, stop!
Or not.
We are outgunned and we are outmanned, but we have each other.
FX's The Bear, the final season. All episodes now streaming on Disney+.
At 9:30 a.m. that morning, a man named Robert Cole was birdwatching just off the Delaware River, about 30 miles from where Lisa had lived. He saw what he immediately recognized as human remains. He searched for a park ranger to help him, but he couldn't find anybody, so he left the area and contacted police. He then led them back to where the remains were in the woods. The remains were nude, and they were nearly skeletal. 12 hours later, the remains were officially identified as Lisa through use of dental records. Investigators from the prosecutor's office went to George and Norma McBride's home to deliver the news in person. When Norma heard that they had found Lisa's body, she collapsed. Little else is known about the circumstances surrounding Lisa's remains. What's on record is what I've already said, the fact that the remains were nude and whoever had disposed of her did very little to conceal her body. Her cheekbone had been fractured, which was likely from blunt force trauma, and it was evident that she had been murdered. Police believed that she was killed soon after she went missing and was later placed in the area where she was found. It should be noted that this area wasn't somewhere that Lisa was known to have visited in the past. It was mostly a place where hunters went. With her remains now identified, Lisa was laid to rest next to her grandparents. Months passed since Lisa's remains were found, and police told the news in 1991 that they believed they had likely spoken to Lisa's killer by that point. They just couldn't figure out who that was. The media was still talking about this persistent man who had hounded Lisa for a date as suspect number 1. Eventually, the media got in contact with some of Lisa's friends who had written down the license plate of that man. Using this tip, investigators were able to track this man down. They didn't reveal his name, and they didn't disclose much about where they found him, only that they had tracked him down, quote, out west. This man also had a solid alibi for the night of Lisa's disappearance and murder. This made it such that the man who had aggressively bothered Lisa for dates was now ruled out. Another dead end.
By 2003, 13 years after Lisa had been found murdered in the woods, investigators had conducted more than 1,500 interviews in the case. They had also consulted with the FBI to compare notes on similar cases and had even consulted with psychics. In a 2003 interview, Norma McBride said that it was entirely possible that Lisa's killer was still living locally and that it could even be someone they knew. A lot of time had passed, so it was natural to see Lisa's family's hope for justice fading with each day that passed without answers. That same year, a new detective was assigned to Lisa's case. And then the following year, in 2004, Sussex County formed a dedicated cold case unit to assist with a total of 6 cases that had gone unsolved over the years. This included Lisa's case. Investigators hoped with all of the advances in technology that it would help them crack Lisa's case. They specifically mentioned advances in DNA evidence gathering, database recording, ballistics identification, and the ability to lift fingerprints from things like leather and cloth. But more years passed. And by 2010, Lisa's case files populated 2 file cabinets at the prosecutor's office. 5 more years after that, in 2015, Lisa's father, George McBride, passed away, and her mother, Norma, died just 3 years later in 2018, neither of them knowing what had happened to their daughter. But even after all of that time, investigators weren't ready to give up on finding the person who was responsible. In 2022, the police got permission to exhume Lisa's body. Now, the details are limited about why they did this. They only said that it was a necessary step in their investigation and that they obtained some kind of DNA evidence, which was then sent to the Bode lab in Virginia for examination. However, no information was immediately given by police about what that DNA revealed. They also said that they had no reason to believe that more than one person was involved in Lisa's abduction and murder.
Police held their cards close to their chest. They kept a lot of information out of the media and away from the public with the hopes of creating an airtight case if and when Lisa's killer was ever found. Some of the statements and information that law enforcement did share with the public were that they believed whoever killed Lisa was familiar with the area and that there were only so many ways that you can get in and out of Lisa's community in Highland Lakes and that these areas weren't easy to navigate. In another statement, they contradicted themselves, saying that the killer didn't necessarily need knowledge of the area, especially the one where they found Lisa's body, because it was close to the Delaware River and Dingman's Ferry Bridge. It was also easy to turn into from the main road, and it felt like you were in the middle of nowhere quickly. Despite this contradiction, what did remain evident was that Lisa's murder wasn't something anyone saw coming. No one who knew her could think of anyone who might want to harm her, and the only person who had risen red flags was that man who we talked about earlier, who wouldn't stop pestering her for dates, and they had a clear, rock-solid alibi. She didn't have a significant other, and she hadn't been casually dating at the time either. As we know in the true crime space, law enforcement often will look to other unsolved cases in the area to see if there's any links, any relation at all that could be possible. And in Lisa's case, none of the unsolved murders in the area seemed to match or relate to hers at all. On top of all that, Lisa was also someone who could have protected herself. As we mentioned earlier, she was athletic, strong, and agile. She was literally a competitive shooter, so it's not a stretch to think that she might have had a gun in her home. This leaves us with a few scenarios and ideas of what could have happened the night that Lisa disappeared and was murdered. It's likely that whoever had murdered her was waiting in her home that night when Lisa arrived after her night out. The phone line had been cut, and a window screen had also been cut, allowing someone to enter the home. Whoever it was must have scared off one of her cats when entering and sat and waited to ambush Lisa when she arrived home. This person also could have entered the home after Lisa arrived. There was at least one neighbor who witnessed Lisa pulling up to her house. It would make sense that maybe someone could have also noticed a suspicious person snooping around her house before she got home. The killer could have followed Lisa home and waited for her to go to bed and the neighbor to grow quiet before entering the home. Whatever the case, with her bed linens missing, it's obvious that something must have happened to Lisa on her bed. Whoever did this took the sheets and blankets and any evidence they held with them and disposed of them at a later time. Investigators weren't exactly forthcoming with many details after investigating the crime scene, but they said several times that they have the evidence to prosecute whoever did kill her. They just need the final piece of the puzzle to identify who that person is. A crucial detail that has been shared is another personal belonging of Lisa's that's still missing to this day. A medium-sized oval purse that has a metal keychain attached to it. The keychain is a brass nameplate with her nickname emblazoned on it. Weesa, W-E-E-S-A. Could investigators ever find the break in the case they so desperately need?
The answer is yes. It would be DNA that would crack Lisa's case wide open. In April of this year, 2026, a man by the name of Robert William McCaffrey was taken into custody by a task force in Dare County, North Carolina. This decades-old case was solved through significant advancements in DNA technology, combined with the relentless investigative efforts, said Sussex prosecutor Daniel Perez. Robert McCaffrey's arrest marks a major breakthrough, bringing the long-awaited progress toward justice for the family of Lisa Marie McBride. Perez didn't specify how DNA led to the break in the case, but he promised that additional details would be released as soon as they become available. McCaffrey has been charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and burglary. McCaffrey formerly resided in Charleston County, South Carolina, and Sussex County. At least 2 Charleston TV stations reported that McCaffrey was once the prime suspect in the disappearance of his wife. She vanished in 2012 and hasn't been seen or found since. A year prior to Lisa's murder, McCaffrey was deemed unfit for service in the Navy due to impulse control issues. He received a dishonorable discharge on September 28, 1989. He was also diagnosed with borderline personality disorder at the time. Jump to 1996, when McCaffrey moved to South Carolina and met and married Marjorie McCaffrey, who disappeared in 2012. McCaffrey was convicted of obstruction of justice in that case and was required to submit a DNA sample for the FBI database. He would later confess to killing Lisa because she refused to go out with him, and that he attempted to return to the McBride residence the following days to recover something that would connect him to the homicide. McCaffrey also said he knew her from the bank where she was a bank teller. During a search of his North Carolina home after his arrest in April of 2026, investigators found a laptop located in a crawl space, 2 hatchets black in color located in a vehicle, and 3 guns. Investigators are still looking for personal items of Lisa's that were taken the night she disappeared. Her wallet, her purse, credit cards, and a brass keychain with her nickname Weesa on it. Investigators believe that he kept these items as, quote, trophies of his skill and power. Robert McCaffrey has waived extradition and is waiting to be brought back to New Jersey to face first-degree murder charges.
Make sure to follow us on all of our socials at The Murder Diaries Pod and subscribe on YouTube, The Murder Diaries Podcast.
Don't forget, our weekly schedule is Mondays, Tragic Hollywood, Tuesdays, Docu-Files, and Thursdays, a true crime case that needs your attention.
Until then,
stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Call me basic, but I'm an autumn girl through and through. And as this summer winds down, it's got me thinking about all these little things that make the home feel a little more comfortable and welcoming and cozy. That's exactly what Quince does so well. They make it so easy to upgrade the spaces that you use every day with quality home essentials made from premium materials without without paying any of those luxury prices. Quince has those pieces that quietly elevate your home, from plush Turkish cotton bath towels and breathable cotton and linen bedding. Everything from Quince is made with premium materials and thoughtful craftsmanship. That's because Quince works directly with ethical factories and cuts out the middleman. That way they can offer exceptional quality at prices that are 50 to 80% less than similar luxury brands. I've been sleeping on European linen sheets from Quince's home goods line for a year now, and let me tell you, they are cozy, they are breathable. I have no notes. They also just sent me their cotton fisherman's throw in the color fig. It is so pretty and also very cozy, most importantly. Elevate your everyday at home. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/diaries. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/diaries.
Athletic Brewing Company crafts award-winning non-alcoholic beers for those who want to be part of every round. With over 185 flavor awards, they're exceptional NA beers that fit your lifestyle and any social occasion. Summer's full of good times, and Athletic fits right in. Go to athleticbrewing.com to have brews delivered to your door, or find them at a bar, restaurant, or store near you. Near beer. Athletic Brewing Company. Fit for all times.
I see you.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Yeah! Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole family.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.